Episode 118. Ted Klopp and Dworsnik, two middle-aged men in Cleveland. Ted, I want to make sure you're safe. Did you avoid the rampant cow among the streets of Cleveland, Ohio from Monday night?
Most definitely.
Well, luckily he was caught on the corner of East 123rd and Oakland Avenue. Thank God for the mounted police. They corralled the cow. What would your experience be if you were driving, and you and I have been all over Cleveland. If you're driving and you look in downtown Cleveland and you see a large cow walking down the street, that would be something different.
That's something different, definitely. Yes. There are a lot of other animals I might, not react to in downtown Cleveland, but something you'd normally find on a farm. No, I've
seen deer, raccoons, host of other animals, but never a cow. Luckily, everyone's safe, and the cow's okay too. So that's good.
Thank goodness. Doesn't the cow have a name? Didn't I see the cow's name is like Checkers or something?
It could be. It could be whatever you want.
Okay.
It should be Klee. Just call it Klee.
Klee. Okay.
Klee the cow.
Klee the cow. I like that.
I love it.
Hey, we went to Cedar Point on July 4th. Kind of crowded.
My.
Yeah.
I could imagine it was crowded.
Shocker.
Yes.
Let's go to Cedar Point on one of the busiest days of the year. But so we went, and my oldest son likes all the thrill rides. So I walk with him. I do not, I can't take most of those, but I'll stand in line with him. And so I was with him. My wife was with our younger two kids, and apparently they wanted to play a midway game, or they wanted her to play a midway game. So they talked her into playing the Guess My Age. I think it's, what is it, age or weight? I think is what it is.
I think they have both. Yeah.
So she was willing to do the Guess My Age.
Okay.
And of course, she just had a birthday. I won't tell you how old she is. I think you know, Ken, but
yes,
she was guessed to be 37.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was a winner. And then we were back there. We have season passes. So we were back there 2 days later, and the kids wanted me to do the age and weight. So, I apparently we have a money tree at our house, and we just pull money off and have people guess our age and our weight. So whatever. So I do this. Yeah, I do the age, and then I do the weight. The guy guessed that I'm 54 and 220 pounds. And I wasn't sure whether to turn his lights out or celebrate a victory.
Yeah. Yep.
Now, the age, you got to be within 3. So he got me there.
Right.
The weight, I think, is within 5 pounds.
Okay.
So he did not get me there. And as the needle is moving, he's like, okay, I'm not close. You can get off of the scale. I said, no. I'm staying on this scale so we see just how little I weigh and how far off you really are. So, yeah.
Good for you.
So 54 and 220 is maybe I should have played those numbers. I don't know.
That could be.
We could
do it for do some of it for Keno. So
yeah, that's all right. I have one other quick story here at the top of the show. My oldest son is spending his first scout camp week away from home. He's been on like an overnight, I think 2 nights, but he's never, either 1 or 2 nights, but he's never been gone for a whole week. And so he's gone this week. And so they do this. There's a scout shop, and scouts can buy stuff. And the suggestion is that you get them this scout card. It's like a pre-filled gift card or credit card, whatever you want to call it. It's got a, however much money you put on it. They suggest to put between $70 and $100 on it for the week. So we put $100 on it. And I thought it might be interesting to, because I get a receipt each time he buys something. I thought it might be interesting to see what he's bought so far. Would you like to know what he's bought?
Oh my gosh, this is classic. Yes, I'd like to know that, because he could choose anything he wants.
Anything in the scout shop. I don't know what else in the scout shop, but I think we'll get a pretty good idea. I'm going to guess.
Please remind the audience his age.
He is 12.
12. Okay.
First time he's had unfettered access to money.
Outstanding.
I mean, do we give him $5 here or there? Yeah, but when he has to decide on his own and manage the money, world premiere. So the first receipt, so he gave him $100. First receipt for $6.25. We bought a $3 Prime Topical Punch, $1.50 Reese's Peanut Butter Cups regular, and a $1.75 small blue raspberry slush puppy.
Blue.
Causing me to speculate as to which night at camp he'll actually sleep, because we're obviously going with a lot of sugar here.
Do they tell you when these items were bought, the time?
I'm assuming I get the receipt right after the transaction.
Okay, gotcha. All right.
So this is Sunday at 5:12. We're taping this Tuesday morning at about 10:30. So this is the first receipt, Sunday, 5:12. He got there at about 2:00. So 3 hours later, he makes his first purchase. About 2 hours later, back at the Scout Shop for $2.35, we bought a $1.50 Reese's Peanut Butter Cup and a ring pop for 85 cents.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
We're loading up.
Big fan of the Reese's cups. So let's move to Monday now. 12:45. We hit up the Scout Shop for $7.25. $2.50 of that went to the Reese's Peanut Butter Cups king size.
Oh, why get the small one?
Reese's cups.
You might as well just get the big one.
Yeah. Got a red Gatorade for $3 and a small blue raspberry slush puppy for $1.75.
Okay.
63 minutes later, back at the Scout Shop again. This time, $10.85.
Oh, it's getting bigger.
What's that?
The prices are getting bigger.
Yeah, he's figured that out, I think. $10.85. He got a $10 Arrow pen kit. Probably the first thing he actually needs.
Okay.
And don't forget 85 cents for another ring pop.
What's the inventory so far? How many ring pops have we had?
That's 2 if you're scoring at home. Yes.
We've had 4 Reese's, right?
Yes. So now 9:05 last night, back at the Scout Shop for $18.50.
Every time it's more.
$18.55. Just to review, we started at $6.25, dipped to $2.35, then $7.25, $10.85, and $18.50.
Okay.
So this time, we got a $10 Glow Party mug.
Need that.
$1 worth of popcorn.
Okay.
$2.50 in candy. And $5 light up glasses.
How many more days are we there?
He's supposed to be there till Friday. His funds may run out.
He's gonna run out of money.
So now there is one more transaction here. That was at 9:05. 30 minutes later, we returned to the Scout Shop for $16.
Oh.
We bought another $1 worth of popcorn.
Okay.
This kid's teeth are going to fall out, by the way. And a 2022 white tie-dye T-shirt.
Had to have it. Boom.
Now, the T-shirt, when I read this, so obviously, just to keep my wife informed and enjoy her reaction, obviously, I've been keeping her up to date. And when I mentioned this white tie-dyed T-shirt, I think that nearly pushed her over the edge, because she has, as she said, purchased so many ready to tie-dye T-shirts for like $1 or $2.
Yeah.
And so this is $15.
Oh boy.
And then as I read it, she says, wait a minute. Did you say 2022? Yes. Yes, indeed, I did. We have last year's T-shirt. So so we've made 6 stops at the Scout Shop. We started with $100, and our balance now $38.80. And he's been there for 2.5 days. He's got to last through Friday on $38.80.
Well, he's going to have to maybe skip a day. Does he know the balance left?
Yeah, $38.80 is what he has left.
Okay, so they tell him what he's got left. Okay.
Well, I don't know if they tell him, but it's in the receipt that I get.
I don't know if he's getting a receipt.
I figured / hoped that the Scoutmasters might talk about money management with the kids. That would be a good thing to do. Maybe they do, I don't know. But if they are, it sure seems like he's not listening.
You got to cut down on the ring pops.
Yeah, and the 2022 tie-dyed shirts.
So what will the conversation be? Who picks him up from camp? Is that yourself or your wife?
So we have a playoff baseball game tonight, and part of the condition for him going was that we could pick him up, take him to his baseball game, and then take him back.
Okay.
So my wife will pick him up tonight, and I have no doubt that conversation will already be had in black and white repeatedly by the time he gets to the baseball game. So, but we can provide an update here in a couple of weeks when we're back as to how the spending ran out. And, if we may have breaking news here during the show, if he makes another purchase, we'll just.
Oh, yeah, that's a good possibility. I think our listeners would really enjoy that.
I'm sure they would. It's odd, as I'm reading this stuff to my wife, her eye starts to twitch. I'm like, your eye's doing that thing again.
The shirt put her over the top. It was a shirt.
Yeah. Well, coming up on this week's show, we have a very small item with a very big price tag, and it's not my son going to the scout shop, but we've got details on that in Klopp's Klips. It wasn't time travel, but some really fast air travel to hit almost every state in the union. We'll explain in Overachievers. And did you know Cleveland used to have an arch on Public Square? We've got details in our Cleveland history segment. So all that and more coming up.
And now, a woman's perspective.
What's the difference between Bigfoot and intelligent man? Bigfoot has been spotted several times.
This has been a woman's perspective.
That Overachiever segment, a pair of pilots has set a Guinness World Record by stopping at airports in each of the 48 contiguous United States in 38 hours, 13 minutes. John Scatone and Bob Reynolds started in Maine and ended in Indiana. They say the shortest distance they spent between the two states was about 4 minutes. It happened twice, once between Nebraska and Iowa, and once between Ohio and West Virginia. Oh, nice job, John and Bob, getting it done.
Sounds like a bucket list thing.
Really does. That'd be very interesting.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Who I wonder, I hope one of them slept while the other was flying.
Yeah, I would say so. That's a really good idea.
Yeah.
Stop at the airports.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Let's just quick stop, go.
I wonder if
there'd be a lot of planning involved with that because you just can't land at an airport,
So do they just land, say, here we are, and take off again? Or do they actually? I can't imagine they would have gone to a terminal or wherever, if you have a small prop plane, what you do.
No. Yeah, there's some planning involved with that. But congrats to those guys. That's pretty neat. That's much different.
Cleveland! This is for you!
Our Cleveland sports historian, Dusty Sloan, will join us to talk about a very interesting date, July 12th, 1921. Besides being Ted Klopp's birth date, this also was a time where the Cleveland Indians and the New York Yankees combined for an AL record 16 doubles in one game. The Indians had 9 and the Yankees had 7. Dusty, what can you tell us about this record?
Well, let's start with a minor correction. It was July 21st, 1921. We had the wrong date in the pregame script, so I had to make an adjustment there. But
I'm not surprised on that.
July 21st, because July 12th is also my anniversary, so I have to make sure I've got that date correct. Right. But this one is July 21 of 21, and there's some very interesting things about this besides the AL record 16 doubles. The Indians obviously had names that you recognize with Tris Speaker, Joe Sewell, Ray Caldwell was a pitcher. But then on the other side, you talk about the Yankees back then. Obviously, Babe Ruth was playing for them. And there was a first baseman that people may remember by the name of Wally Pipp. And they remember that because he was replaced later by Lou Gehrig and never got his job back. So a lot of different things going on with this game. But doubles, you would think that sometime between 1921 and now, the two teams could have combined for more than that.
Yeah, you would certainly think so. Here's the other thing, too, with the game of baseball. And I know everybody now, and I try to correlate it to what you see these days. Everybody wants to see homers. If you think about the game at that point in time, there were homers, but people were just trying to get on base. You know, I mean, and I think it's part of the reason you had so many doubles in that contest. What do you think of that, Dusty?
That's absolutely right, because there were no triples, there were no homers in that game. But there was a combined 25 runs and 38 hits. So out of 38 hits, 16 were extra bases, and every one of them was a double. So there was a big premium back then on contact. And you look at the strikeout totals, there was a combined 7 strikeouts between the two teams in that game. So it's a very different game 100 plus years ago than what you're seeing now.
I wonder if they had ground rule doubles back then, or if the ball just kept hopping over the wall.
That's a good question. They don't have anything here that says that, but I do have another interesting name that I just saw for the New York Yankees. You ever heard of a first baseman / outfielder by the name of Chicken Hawks?
No.
Chicken Hawks.
I ate at his restaurant once.
Yeah, great food, left-handed hitter. But he played the Yankees in 21 and for Philadelphia in 25, and that was it. But yeah, Chicken Hawks.
By the way, Dusty, I didn't ask this question. I should have asked this in the beginning. Who won the contest?
Oh, the Indians did.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Despite Chicken Hawks. Yeah, the Indians won with 7 runs in the third and 6 in the seventh, won 17-8.
Oh, okay. Wow.
And there was a save in this game, believe it or not.
That's crazy. Well, Dusty, thanks for the information. AL record back on July 21st, 1946, as the New York Yankees and the Indians combined for 16 doubles. Thank you, sir.
Thanks, guys.
Cleveland! This is for you!
Late news, Ken, but still good news for a New York woman. Janine Plummer bought her Cash for Life ticket in May of last year, 2022. That's around the same time the T-shirt that my son bought for $15 was made. She forgot to check, however, if that ticket was a winner. She did see a news release in May of this year saying that the winning ticket in that drawing was still out there and nearly expired. So that prompted her to check her tickets, and that's when she discovered she had a winner. So Janine Plummer, a year later, now wins $1,000 a week for life.
Wow. Good for her.
I wonder, will they give her back pay for the year that she didn't claim it? I would think not.
That's a great question. Imagine not. Not. You got to, when you turn the ticket in, you got to get to the window to collect your money. Well, luckily enough, she was watching some sort of news story to find out that she still has a ticket. How would you forget that? I don't understand that.
I don't know. I don't buy lottery tickets too often, so when I do, it's a big deal. I make sure that I reconfirm my losing status.
Well, and here's the thing: it's like she didn't even know if she won, but she still held on to the ticket.
Right?
I that's
don't
strange.
Know. That's probably
$1,000.
That's like a woman's purse is like the dryer.
Yeah.
Where did the sock go?
Yep. Ted, that was amazing. Good news. It is history time. Get out your pencils, your paper, and record this if you need to, because we were with the professor, Mr. John Grabowski. And John, we have a very good one for you today. And I'm going to be kind of sitting back and listening to what you have to tell us about the Cleveland Centennial Arch.
Oh, gosh. Well, it was a monumental plaster and lath arch that spans Superior Avenue on Public Square. And it was erected for the city's centennial in 1896. That was a big celebration of the founding of Cleveland. There was a log cabin built on Public Square to honor the early settlers. There were all sorts of parades, and it built this magnificent arch over Public Square. Now, I have to tell you, it wasn't the first arch to go over Public Square. Because in 1871, the German community of Cleveland, German-speaking community of Cleveland, built a triumphal arch over Public Square to basically celebrate the Prussian victory over the French in the Franco-Prussian War, which created the new Germany. And ironically, that all German-speaking people were there, and it was a Jewish German rabbi who was sort of headed that up. So you had this temporary triumphal arch over Public Square, and that went away. And so in 1896, for the city's centennial, they create this new arch, and it has a couple of gee whiz factors for it too, and one of them is that it was electrically lit. And on July 22nd, 1896, that's the 100th anniversary of Moses Cleaveland landing on the bank of the Cuyahoga River, the lights were lit automatically by President Grover Cleveland. He pushed a button and the arch lit up. So that was kind of the technological aspect of it. And there were all kinds of parades that went through that arch. There were parades of bicyclists and whatever else. There was a whole series of special days in Cleveland at that time. So it's a big thing for the city. And the city was growing. It was going to surpass Cincinnati as the largest city in Ohio. We were getting our chops, so to speak. Yeah.
So why is the arch not there anymore?
Because it was plaster and lath, and it was intended to be temporary.
I see.
Yeah, and I've been looking at this in 1898 after the Spanish-American War. The citizens of New York erected a huge triumphal arch in Greenwich Village to honor Admiral Dewey, who won the victory at Manila, and that stood for a number of years until the plaster lath started going off and people were sleeping in it, so it was eventually torn down. So I'd like to do more research to see how many of these temporary monumental arches were erected, but Cleveland had this. There was one thing from the centennial that I have to talk about. The women of Cleveland put together a time capsule. It was aluminum, it was riveted shut, and was to be opened a century later for the bicentennial of Cleveland. And that was given to the Western Reserve Historical Society, where I work. And in 1996, it was the 100th anniversary, and we brought the capsule out, and we had some women from hard-headed women, basically construction workers. They came there and they zapped the rivets off, and we opened it up, and there were letters, gold coins. We knew what was in there because there was already a list in there, but I got to see that thing being opened. So that was the remnant of the centennial opened at our bicentennial.
That is really cool, John. I like how you combine that with what we're talking about right now. I guess my last question, do we have any idea of who came up with the design for the arch or anything like that?
I haven't looked it up, but we probably could find it. There's a commission, the Centennial Commission, and from what I've read about the commission, was sort of scrambling to get things in order for this. It was kind of a number of people with a number of ideas, and you can see all this stuff with the different events going on. But sure, I probably could look at the records and find out who designed the arch, and I'm sure somebody who's listening is going to know that already. But I would recommend everybody who's listening to this podcast is to Google Centennial Arch. There are a number of good photographs that you can find online, and it's pure white plaster, and it looks like the Arc de Triomphe in Paris. It's almost a copy of that.
Yeah, that's just crazy. Well, John, great information as always. We really do appreciate it, and we do welcome our listeners to Google the Cleveland Centennial Arch, as I did have a chance to take a look at some of the pictures. Absolutely magnificent. Really, really cool. Hard to believe that's in Cleveland. Let's be honest.
And it just gets through this whole argument about traffic through the square and closing the square off, but that's another podcast interview.
Oh, that is another podcast, John. We'll have one of those topics. Yeah. We appreciate it. Well, John, thanks again.
Okay. Thanks, guys.
Ted, we're out and about Northeast Ohio. I actually was out and about in Lusby, Maryland. I know that's a place you've spent some time with. It's just outside of D.C. Ao and myself, the kids, we went for a kind of a vacation, as you know, Ted. Vacations become harder when you have more activities for your children as they get older. So we went over July 4th. We actually did some sailing, which was very cool. We stayed overnight in a boat. We ate some crabs and had some laughs. It was fun. Saw some fireworks. It was very cool. In the local area, I went to the following. I was aggressive for the past 2 weeks. I'm not going to lie. I did a lot. I was in Costa and Vic's in Parma. I went to Rivals in Berea, which is very nice. Very nice outdoor patio there. Danny's Deli with yourself. We had a wonderful.
Oh, yeah.
Nice to hear Tony making fun of us as we eat. That was just great. Went to Hail Mary's in Westlake. Did you ever go there?
No, I'm not familiar with that.
I saw who actually at one point in time, you might have worked with Jason Gibbs. Did you work with Jason Gibbs at one point in time? He works for K&R. I saw him there.
That name sounds familiar, but I don't think it's because I worked with him.
He works, they have that show in the afternoons, Browns Football Daily or whatever with Bates and Segura. He works on that show. So I got to see him. I actually gave him some recommendations for Keno numbers to play that came from Aowen, and I think he won. So he's very happy with us. Another place that's owned by the same group is called Salty Mary's in Westlake. We went to have a dinner there, and then we went to Sakana in Rocky River, as well as, did I go to a Guardians game? Yeah, I went to a Guardians game.
Okay.
I'm 7-2 now.
7-2.
I think I need to go to more. 7-2 Guardians games for 2023.
Okay.
That's my out and about, sir. Do you have?
Oh, yeah. Well, I mentioned
Cedar Point.
Yeah, went to Cedar Point. And this was an interesting situation. So my son, oldest son, the one who's spending me into oblivion at scout camp, he wanted to ride the Millennium Force. And so, you know, you look at the app and the app says, oh, well, now it's a 20-minute wait. And then you walk up and by the time you get there, it's changed or, you know, I don't know, whatever. It's not always accurate. And, you know, is that an error on their part? Is that just the way it works? I don't know. Whatever. So it's like 45 minutes. So he's like, I don't want to wait. Okay, fine. Do some other things. And he's getting a little frustrated because nobody else in the group wants to do any of these thrill rides with him. And so he feels like he can't really do any. And then I noticed that Millennium Force again is like 20 minutes. So we walk back over 45 minutes. And I noticed that there is they're smart. They have a one-time fast pass use sale kiosk there by the front of the ride.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you really want to do this? Oh, yes, I really want to do this, Daddy. I really want to do this. So I go over how much. It's like $20. And I'm like, great. Okay.
Is that just for that ride? Or is that for
the to hop the line?
Wow.
Yeah. I don't remember what it is. I don't remember what it is for the day. You can get it for the day, or obviously you can get it for the season. It's a wonderful gimmick to separate you from your cash.
Unbelievable.
And so we didn't. So there's the slingshot ride at the park.
Yeah.
That's $20 for two people. You got to have two people to ride.
Okay.
Well, we didn't have a second person to ride with him, so we didn't do it. So, okay. So he was kind of disappointed. And I'm thinking, okay, well, you know, I'll pony up here one time and get him on the ride in a timely manner. Okay. So I get him the fast pass and we walk up and I said, I'm not riding. I'm just going to walk with him because he wants me to walk with him. And the woman says, oh, well, you have a drink. You can't walk. And I'm like, I'm not riding. I'm just going through the line. No, you can't do that. Okay. So I'm like, are you okay? He's like, I'm good. Okay, great. So I go sit by the picture gimmick where they come off. And I'm there for, I don't know, five minutes or so. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, he comes running up, screaming and crying. He's like, I couldn't do it. I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do it. I'm really sorry. I'm really sorry. I'm like, what's the matter? He's like, I don't know. I just can't do it. And I'm like, well, do you want me to walk with you? Yes. So the cup that we have, because we have season passes, you can get a cup for the season and you get free refills.
Oh, that's cool.
So I drink the rest of it, pour it out, whatever, shove it in my pocket. And I'm like, I'm just going to walk with him. I don't have a drink. I'm like, okay. So then we get up to the divider where the fast pass people and the people in the regular line connect, and they have a Cedar Point employee there to, make that transition. And obviously he's only got one ticket for the fast pass. And I said, I'm just walking with him. I'm not riding. And she says, well, you can't do that. And I don't understand. This is kind of I'm a little frustrated with Cedar Point about this, but I'm like, I'm not riding. I'm just going to walk with him. And she looks at me and she says, I'm sorry. And so I looked at her and said, I'm sorry too. I need a refund. And she didn't know what to say to that.
Yep.
And so we stood there for a minute, and all of a sudden behind me, the guy in line behind us in the fast pass says, hey, bud, you want to walk with us? You can walk with us. And I looked at my son, and he's like, he's surprised. And I'm like, are you good with that? And he's like, yeah, I'm good with that. I'm like, okay, you sure? Yeah. And so then, everybody's happy. No refund is needed. And the guy's like, hey, what's your name? And he's talking to my son. So I go sit down. And then I noticed that the handicapped entrance is actually the exit. There's all these people walking in. So I walk in and I can see him up in the line. So I walk in and, so I'm kind of with him, but not really close. And I'm waving at him and giving him the thumbs up. And I can tell he's still kind of wiping the tears from his eyes, but he's okay. And I'm like, do you want me to stand here? And he's like, yeah, stand there. And I said, you okay? And he kind of gives me a half-hearted thumbs up. And I said, I'll holler up some of my best dad jokes if that'll help. And he says, he's giving me a big shake off. No. Don't say a word, Dad. You're uncool, Dad. Don't say a thing. So he rides the ride. He comes off. And I'm like, how was that? And he was like, oh my God, it was great. It was awesome. I'm like, okay, great. Well, did you thank the guy several times? And he's like, yes, I did. I said, okay, well, I want to wait. I said, where is he? I want to thank him as well. And he's like, well, I don't know. I don't know where he went. And the guy's not coming off the ride. And he comes off with the next group, and I thank him. And he's like, oh yeah, no problem. No big deal. And he shakes my hand, and it was just like, this is not a big deal. This is just the right thing to do. And then I asked my son, I'm like, did he have a kid in his group that was your age or anything like that? And he said, no, I think he was just with his girlfriend. And I'm like, oh, so I'm pretty sure he probably told one of the ride guys that he was helping my son ride, and then probably got to ride a second time with his girlfriend. So he got a little reward as well. But here's a guy who, I don't know if he has kids or not, but just helps out another person.
Yep.
I didn't know that still happened in 2023.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
There are, as they say, and many of the people that listen to our show and others are great people.
Yeah. And
do great things. That's super exciting.
And that's
pretty cool. Was that the first time he's ever ridden a roller coaster?
No. Oh no. Okay. He's ridden other roller coasters. Okay. I think it was, you could see it. The Millennium Force is clearly next to the Top Thrill Dragster, the tallest ride in the park.
Oh gosh.
And so I think that just, kind of intimidated him. But the other nice thing, he couldn't stop thanking me for getting him that fast pass.
Well,
so clearly it all registered with him, which was really cool.
That's awesome.
So
that's awesome.
I
don't know why you're not riding the rides with him, first of all.
What's that?
I don't know why you're not riding the rides.
I'm not insane. I'm 54 and 220 pounds. Leave me alone.
I'm just saying that because there's no way I'm riding that stuff.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Well, Ted, great story. That's great stuff. I'm glad you guys are out and about. I know you'll be out and about more at Cedar Point, and we'll be eating and drinking aggressively in Cleveland, Ohio. Continue to support your local businesses.
The most trusted name in journalism, Klopp's Klips.
All right, Ken. A very small Louis Vuitton handbag sold at auction for almost $64,000.
Jeez.
That's a lot of money for a handbag. This is a Louis Vuitton. It measures 657 by 222 by 700 micrometers. It's described as smaller than a grain of salt and narrow enough to pass through the eye of a needle. The bag was recently displayed in Paris, mounted under a microscope. 64 grand for something with a logo on it that you'll never be able to use and can barely see.
I mean, I'd be worried about losing it. That'd be my concern.
Yeah.
Wow, that's
well, and
crazy.
if you do, what have you really lost other than 64 grand?
That's right.
The deputy mayor of Helsinki, Finland, was apparently caught spray painting graffiti in a railway tunnel. The graffiti cost the city almost $4 grand to clean up. It also stopped traffic for a while. The deputy mayor posted an apology on his Facebook for his, quote, stupid fooling around.
Boy, he's really lost his mind, has he not?
I
wonder what he sprayed on there. What words?
No idea. But you're the mayor and you're costing the city money? I don't understand that.
Flop is king. That's what he wrote.
Yeah. Someone recently returned the book, An Elementary Treatise on Electricity by James Clerk Maxwell, to the library, a library. It was checked out on February 14th. February 14th of 1904. Somebody had this book for 119 years. The curator says that the book looks to be in good shape.
What's the fine on that? Do they not fine him?
The book is fine.
It's fine. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Ken, how are we? What anniversary are we with Aowen now? Where are we?
Oh, it's one. Yeah, we had 1 year in May, at the end of May.
End of May.
Year.
Okay,
yeah.
That's what I thought. All right. Well, I know we can't go back in time, but if we could, this might be something to consider.
Okay.
McDonald's in Indonesia is now offering a McCatering service for McWeddings. The Golden Arches can cater your big day wedding package. The standard package includes 100 chicken sandwiches and 100 packs of 4-piece chicken nuggets. The company's Instagram post notes various other exciting package options are available.
Ooh, I need to know those exciting package options at some point. That would be great.
What I need to know, and I wish she could join us here for a moment, because I would love to hear what kind of a reaction Aowen might have had if you had said, we're not going to this local brewery bar. We're going to have McDonald's cater the wedding. What can you describe for me how she would have reacted?
It would probably be a lot of quietness for a while. I imagine that would be the first reaction, a little Phil Collins stuff there.
Yeah.
I think if you're going to do this, and if you're going to go this route, I don't think you screw around with burgers. You go right to the McRib.
The McRib
for everybody.
Oh, that's a good call. That's a good call. Wow. All right. Sports. We have scores 8-4, 9-3, and 4-2. I'm Ted Klopp. That's news to me.
Oh no, not a dad joke.
Hey, did you hear about the kidnapping at school?
No.
It's okay. He woke up.
That joke was horrible.
We are wrapping up Two Middle-Aged Men in Cleveland. This is episode number 118. And Ken, I'm sorry to say I don't have any breaking news. My son has not made any more purchases during the recording of this program.
I was hoping that he makes something, a couple more ring pops or Reese's, or maybe he'll get a shirt for 2023. Maybe he's got the 2022. Maybe he'll get the 2023 tie-dye.
I just kind of, if he blows through this last $38.80 before my wife picks him up tonight, I would imagine that conversation will be even more uncomfortable for him than it already will be.
Oh yeah. But yeah, it might be to a point you might not have to say much. So yeah. I think she'll take care of the business.
I think so. Episode 118. That's Gary Danielson, isn't it?
Gary Danielson. Here I like to do some research when we have these, because there's always some players that I'm like, he really played for the Browns. I think you knew about Doug Peterson. He was also the Hall of Fame coach, or not Hall of Fame coach. He won the Super Bowl for the Eagles. He's now coaching for Jacksonville. Taylor Gabriel, I know that's not earth-shattering for you. Mike Tomczak.
I liked his first album, Taylor Gabriel.
Yeah, it was very good.
Yeah.
Dante Stallworth, that's a name we'd like to forget. Carlton Mitchell, Greg Little, Kenny Britt, David Bell most recently. Here's the one. I never would have guessed this. Never would have guessed this. Len Dawson, who was the Hall of Fame quarterback for the Chiefs, had a 2-year stint with the Browns before he got famous. Did you know this?
Wow.
Didn't know this.
Well, all I can say based on that list of names, with just one or two exceptions, is what did the number 18 ever do to the Browns?
Yeah.
My God.
Well, we can move to some Cavalier ball. I think you're going to get this.
I got one. Hot Rod Williams.
Done. Well done.
That's easy.
Dellavedova, Matthew Dellavedova, one of your favorite players. He was 18. Yeah. Okay. Mike Miller. And here's a guy that's not very famous for when he played, but he's starting to get famous now. Remember Anthony Parker, who played for the Cavs? His sister's Candace Parker. Yeah. He's now the Orlando Magic GM. Just got named a few days ago. Ooh. So good for him. Now we move to the Guardian/Tribe. Well, it's all going to be Tribe. There's no Guardians right now that are 18, which is surprising. You got any
Mel
18?
Harder.
Gosh, well done. You know your sports history, man. Through the first game at Cleveland Municipal Stadium. Minnie Minoso. That's a great name.
Da, 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 da. Oh, that's Minnie the Moocher. I'm sorry.
Dick Hauser, who was a longtime, was a good baseball player, but a longtime manager for the Royals. He's in the Hall of Fame.
Okay.
Dwayne Kuiper, who I believe is still calling games, if I'm not mistaken.
He may have let a word or two slip that he shouldn't have, and I think
I do remember that.
I think he might have been encouraged to seek employment elsewhere.
Yeah, I think you're right. And then Ken Schramm. Remember Ken Schramm? He had that bad mustache. Pitcher for the the Tribe. I think he was on that 87 or 88 team. So those are your highlights for jersey number 18. Now I do, if you can give me 1 minute here, I do have a sports rant.
Okay.
These are the only rants I have, unless I'm, upset about people that can't park correctly in a parking lot, or complaining about the airport or something, or what the hell are they doing with the lakefront. No, I'm not going to talk about any of that stuff. We're going to talk about Cleveland Guardians baseball, who are, as we tape this, it's All-Star break. They couldn't be any more even Steven right now, Ted. 45-45.
Yeah.
Play well at home. I've seen 7 wins. On the road, 21-23. That's okay. So they have a half-game lead in their division, which might be the worst division in baseball. There's no doubt. It could be one of the worst divisions ever, considering Detroit has 39 wins, White Sox 38 wins, and Kansas City 26.
Okay.
That's not what I want to talk about. So everybody knows that the Guardians, They don't spend a lot of money. They do the money ball thing. They do the best that they can with the budget that they have, and they've had great success. So I'm not complaining about that. It is difficult to watch some of their games. They're very low scoring. They've had trouble scoring, but part of the reason is because of the lack of home runs. And so I wanted to do some research today, which kind of is the reason I'm having this rant, of how many homers the Guardians actually have as a team.
Okay.
So I did the research. They have 60 homers in 90 games this year.
Okay.
That, I repeat, is last in Major League Baseball.
Okay.
The Atlanta Braves, who are a very good team that played the Cleveland Guardians a few weeks ago, and just one of the games that I watched, this completely beat the crap out of them. They have, I repeat, in 89 games, 169 home runs.
And they're okay.
They have 109 more homers than we do.
Yeah.
Now, here's the part that's very sobering. Two teams that I think are probably the worst in baseball, being the Washington Nationals and the Kansas City Royals, who have 26 wins. Both those teams each have 78 homers. They have 18 more homers than we do. So despite all that, we're first in our division. I think we pitch pretty well. Our defense is decent. We're starting to hit more, but we don't hit homers.
Uh-huh.
Well, it's like we're playing a different game than everybody else.
Oh, well, we have to shoot smells.
My gosh. And you know what? If they find some people that can hit, and they have a guy in the minors, Oscar Gonzalez, SpongeBob SquarePants, and they do have a guy by the name of Shane Bieber, who I don't know what they're doing with him. Recently, he's not been great, but I think they need to let the guy know if they're going to trade him or not, because I think it's affecting the way he's playing. If they decide to trade him, my gosh, get a bat.
Oh.
The outfield right now, Miles Straw, 0 homers. Stephen Kwan, 1 homer. Will Brennan, I think he has 3. To my rant today, I think the key to success, let's hit some homers. Thank you very much. Thank you for the time. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Homers.
All right. Homers. Okay. Let me help you up the soapbox.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I feel better. I do.
I'm glad you do. Yes.
Just need some dingers. That's all I need. Just need some dingers.
And besides that, you need some home runs.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
Okay. Well, you have anything exciting planned? Are you going to go watch them not hit home runs in the next?
No, I can't. Well, I can't do that for a while because they're away. They go to Texas after the break. So no, I think I'll be celebrating, or at least attending, the St. Charles Borromeo Carnival.
Okay.
They brought that back after a long layoff. They're having a 3-day carnival at the church. It's the church I grew up at. So I think I'll take that in probably Sunday evening. But other than that, I'm going to probably get myself a cigar from Cristo.
Okay.
Over there in Lakewood. And that's all I have. I'm not going to be playing any golf anytime soon. I did have an opportunity to play some golf with your favorite meteorologist, Scott Sable, at Mastic Woods not too long ago. And I didn't kill anyone, and I didn't kill him. So that was part of my goal, because my shot, I don't know what's happened. There's a few holes where I hit the ball sideways, Ted. I'm not sure what's going on, but yeah, the 2 guys we were with had a really good time. Just some random folks that were from Medina County area, and it was hilarious, and we made them laugh. And that's what I can do. If you need somebody to eat and drink with, I'm your guy. If you need laughs, I can do that.
There you go.
If you want somebody that's going to play nice, consistent golf, not happening here. Not
Don't
up
be
in here.
here.
No, thank you.
Well, did you and Scott Sable discuss which cities to put on the big wheel for the next time we have him on?
We did. He would like to be doing that here very soon, so we'll have to schedule time with him to find some other cities that he can talk about. So he's in the process too, and we'll be at this point at some time too. He's got a son going to college, so yeah, that's it was a very interesting experience. You kind of, your life kind of changes to an extent, because you spent all this time doing all these things for this child, and now they're gone. So it's like, okay, here's the new normal. So we kind of talked about that, but yeah, you and I will be experiencing that at some point in time. So
very good.
But no, he's doing very well. Looks forward to talking with us.
Excellent. All right.
Great show, sir. I appreciate it. To the listeners, thank you. Dusty Sloan, solid as always. John Grabowski, solid as always. They're the hits of this show. We're just kind of fill-ins. That's the way I look at it. So
the space in between.
That's Dave Matthews. I like that.
Is
Very
that
nice.
okay? Okay.
By the way, I had a memory. So driving back from Washington, D.C., we're on 71 heading north, and we're actually in the Mansfield area, and I fired up one of your favorite radio stations to listen.
WVMO,
what would that be?
Mix 106.
Love it. Same music, same stuff. Heard some Tracy Chapman, heard some others. It was great. It was just like the old days.
Was Tony Mitchell on? Or Greg Campbell or anybody?
Greg Campbell, yes.
Greg Campbell. Oh,
Greg
love
Campbell.
That.
Well, it's his voice. I don't know if he's on, but it's his voice.
God only knows. Jim Holmes is still answering the phone there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that was a nice memory for me to listen to that. So it's good stuff. Well, sir, have a great week. Great show. Thanks again. And as always, just remember, we're just two middle-aged men in Cleveland.
Two Middle-Aged Men in Cleveland is sponsored by Westminster AV. Custom audio-visual packages for all occasions.